Hey, what's up guys, this is Wacco, and this is going to be an updated Affliction Warlock guide for patch 7.1.5. I'm going to go over all the talents, builds, rotation, relics, stat priority, and whatnot, and just try to cover everything. So the first thing I'm going to cover is the changes that have happened for Affliction Warlocks in patch 7.1.5, which was released about 3 days ago. So yeah, first thing is Contagion was buffed by 6%. It used to be 12% increased damage, now it is 18%. So yeah, buffed by 6%, that's that. Drain Life is no longer an Affliction Warlock ability, it was replaced by Drain Soul. So Drain Soul is no longer a talent choice anymore, it was replaced by Malefic Grasp. And what that basically does is when you use Drain Soul on a target, all of your dots on the target are going to be doing 80% more damage, which is extremely crazy. Actually, the damage is pretty nuts right now. So that's that. Also, Seed of Corruption, like the damage from it, was buffed quite substantially, and Grimoire of Sacrifice was nerfed quite substantially. But it's not like we use this talent anyway, in most situations. Haunt was changed, so it no longer is just like a flat damage nuke. Now you do damage, and after you do damage with it, the damage that you do to that target is going to be increased by 30% for 15 seconds. So it's very similar to the old Haunt. And what else? Alright, so Soul Harvest. Soul Harvest, it lasts for 15 seconds when you use it. It used to be 10 seconds, so that had an extra 5 seconds added to it. So just like baseline, when you use Drain, or when you use Soul Harvest, you're going to get at least 15 seconds, then another 2 seconds for each target afflicted by your Agony, up to 35 seconds. Sow of Seeds was technically nerfed, because it now only embeds a Demon Seed in 2 additional enemies, down from 4, but because the Seed of Corruption's damage was increased quite a lot, it's kind of not really that much of a problem, it's pretty much the same. Mana Tap is also gone now. It was replaced by Empowered Life Tap, and that is when you use Life Tap, your damage is increased by 10% for 20 seconds. And last thing is the Demon Circle. It now lasts for 15 minutes instead of 6 minutes, so in longer encounters, it's going to be you don't have to like reapply your portal. You're just going to have it through the whole encounter, because it's probably not going to last for more than 15 minutes anyway. So yeah, those are all the changes for Affliction Warlock in 7.1.5. Alright, now I'm going to very briefly go over the core abilities of an Affliction Warlock, being Agony, Corruption, Siphon Life when you take it over Sow the Seeds, Unstable Affliction, Drain Soul, and Reap Soul. Agony is a dot you put on the target. It deals low damage at first, but it ramps up. You want to keep this up all the time and not let it fall off, because if it falls off, it has to re-ramp back up. You're just going to lose a lot of damage with that. Corruption is just a very basic dot. It doesn't really do anything special, but it does mediocre damage. And then Siphon Life is another dot. It does pretty similar damage to Corruption, and it also heals you for 100% of the damage that it deals. It's worth noting that it is a free ability. It doesn't cost any mana to use. And then Unstable Affliction is a dot that you have to cast on the target. It costs 1 Soul Shard per Unstable Affliction, and you can use up to 5 of them on the target at once. Or you can have like 5 of them ticking on the target at once. And then Drain Soul is a channeled ability that deals pretty okay damage, and it heals you for 260% of the damage that it deals. And then Reap Souls is your artifact ability. All these purple things on the ground are souls, which spawn randomly when you deal like that. They spawn randomly when you deal damage to an enemy, and they also spawn when you kill an enemy. And using Reap Souls consumes all the souls and gives you a 10% damage buff, increases the effectiveness of your artifact traits, and it also lasts for 5 seconds per soul consumed. So yeah, those are just the 6 core abilities of an Affliction Warlock. I just wanted to quick go over those just to make sure everyone's on the same page. Alright, now I want to very briefly go over the stat priority for Affliction Warlock. You're going to be wanting to stack Mastery primarily. Mastery increases the damage of all your dots, pretty much. Yeah, it increases the damage done by Agony, Corruption, Siphon Life, and UA by whatever your Mastery is. Mine being 102%, which isn't great, but it's not awful either. So yeah, stacking Mastery basically just gives a straight up damage boost to all of your main abilities besides Drain Soul, but Drain Soul really isn't going to be doing that much damage anyway because your dots are going to be your main damage source. So yeah, after Mastery, Haste equals crit, and then after that, Versatility is last. You do not want any versatility, or you're going to want to try not to get any versatility as an Affliction Warlock. It's just really not a good stat. Okay, so now I'm going to go over how this single target build works. What you're going to want to do is keep all your dots on the target, and then when you have some soul shards, you're going to want to reap soul, and then use 2 to 3 UAs on the target, and then try to drain those out while also maintaining Agony, Corruption, Siphon Life on the target. The reason you're only going to use 2 to 3 UAs is because, let's say you pump out 5 UAs on the target, and then you start using Drain Soul to increase their damage by 80% with Malefic Grasp. By the time you actually start using Drain Soul, your first 2 UAs are going to be running out, so you're not going to get the full potential out of them. So that's why you only want to use 2 to 3 UAs, even 1 if you have it. Or probably not 1, just go for 2 to 3. So yeah, I'm gonna demonstrate how this works. You're gonna put all your dots on the target, keep those maintained, and then when you have some soul shards, use Reap Soul and instantly cast 2 UAs or 3, depending on what you want to do or the situation, and then try to drain those out while also keeping your dots up on the target. 2 or 3 UAs and drain. So you get the full potential out of your 80% increased damage from Malefic Grasp. So yeah, that's basically the whole single target rotation. Just keep dots up, use Reap Soul before you're gonna shit out some UAs, and then try to drain out your UAs. Or use Drain Soul for hopefully the full duration of your UAs, unless you need to stop to reapply a dot. So yeah, that's basically how the single target rotation works. Alright, so now I'm going to go over more of a Mythic Plus kind of build that you'd want to run. For this build, it's pretty much the same as the single target build, except you take Sow the Seeds instead of Siphon Life. And then on the level 100 tier, you will primarily take Soul Conduit, but in some low-level Mythic Pluses where you can just burn everything down without worrying about what you're pulling, you can just take Phantom Singularity and do a lot of damage. But basically, the point of this build is to have a good balance of AoE and single target. With Malefic Grasp, Contagion, and then Soul Conduit, you're going to be doing really good single target damage. For that, you would just put up Siphon Life, or not Siphon Life, you would put up Agony, Corruption on the target, and then just go through your single target build. So it's basically the same as the single target build minus Siphon Life. And then for an AoE situation, you would put down Sow the Seeds, and then put your Agony on everything, and just spread UAs to get the 18% damage boost. And yeah, this build is basically the exact same as the single target build, just plus Sow the Seeds for the AoE. So you're going to be doing good AoE and good single target damage, which is exactly what you want for a Mythic Plus. Alright, so now I'm going to go over a multi-target build for a raid scenario. If you have multiple targets that are going to be alive for a while, for example, Odin's fight. So for this, I would go Wrath and Agony, Absolute Corruption, Siphon Life, Grimoire of Supremacy, and Soul Effigy. And the point of this build is to just keep dots up on your main target, off target, and your Soul Effigy. Keep all the dots maintained. And then when you have 4 to 5 soul shards, dump all your UAs with a Reap Soul on your main target. And when you don't have any dots to refresh or UAs to put down, or when you don't have any dots to refresh and you're not capped on soul shards, with 4 or 5 soul shards, then you can just try to drain soul on your main target. You're not going to be really doing it much at all, but when you get the chance, do it. The extra damage is helpful, or the extra damage matters. So yeah, I'm just going to demonstrate how this is done. So you're going to put your dots on your main target, off target, put down your Soul Effigy, and dot that thing up. And then yeah, just watch your dots, make sure you refresh everything when you need to. And yeah, just keep an eye on the dots, drop UAs with a Reap when you have 4 to 5 soul shards. And when you're not refreshing dots, which you're going to be doing a lot, so probably not going to have much time to drain soul. But yeah, just keep dots up and drop UAs on your main target when you have the soul shards to do so and the time. Alright, so the last thing I wanted to talk about in this video is relic choices. The top 3 relics for Affliction Warlock would be Shadow Incarnation, which increases your shadow damage deal by 3%, would be 4% with the relic, and most of your damage that you deal is shadow damage, so basically increases all of your damage, so that's really good. Next one is Partition, which increases the critical strike damage dealt by Agony, Corruption, and Drain Soul, and Unstable Affliction by 10%, so basically all of your abilities besides Siphon Life. And then last one is Inherently Unstable, which increases the critical strike chance of increases the critical strike chance of Unstable Affliction by 6%. It is 8% with the relic, and I actually have this relic. So those are the 3 traits you're going to want to get relics for, but some honorable mentions are Inherently Unstable, which increases the damage dealt by Agony by 12% and 16% with the relic. That is very strong. And then also Hideous Corruption, which increases the damage dealt by Corruption by 12% or 16% with a relic. So yeah, that is what I would go for as an Affliction Warlock, and what is the most beneficial for you. I'm just going to go over that again. Shadowy Incarnations, Partition, Inherently Unstable, Immutable Agony, and Hideous Corruption. So yeah, that is basically all I wanted to go over in this guide. Thank you guys very much for watching this video. If you liked it, like it. If you didn't like it, dislike it. If you want to see more videos like this, you guys can subscribe to my channel, watch my other videos, yeah. It's getting late, guys. Getting a little tired. So yeah, that is about all for today. I hope you guys have a nice day. Peace.